thought we'd roll out a once-in-a-lifetime business opportunity. Music.
Inter.
Worldwide.
Inter.
Worldwide.
Ciao, buongiorno a tutti ragazzi to a special edition of the Nerazzurri podcast. The colors are black and blue. It's the Inter Worldwide edition of the Derby della Madonnina victory featuring Christian Rivas and Bruno. What's good? What's goody, fellas?
I gotta say it's an honor to be on the podcast with the legend and the myth himself, Bruno. You know?
Yes, and it's always a pleasure to be on this, especially this uncensored version, because we can't contain our shit. What a fucking game.
Bruv, we were talking about it before. We're going to keep talking about it now. Milano is black and blue once again. So I'm going to start off myself. I can't believe that we turned it around, 4 goals in the second half. But this Milan team is weak. They are super duper weak. And I reckon that they would just flat out went there to really gas it in the opening minutes. And, bro, they didn't even play football in the second half, to be honest. Zlatan Ibrahimovic calls himself a lion. He is, but he's surrounded by kittens. And at 38 years old, his clock, it's not even ticking anymore, man. He's hitting the snooze button every 5 minutes. The long-term project and prospects of the red and black side of Milan, they are shit. They're in the pits. I don't know how they're going to recover from this. I wouldn't have even sold Piontek, but we'll get all of that stuff later. Christian Rivas, bro, go do some gloating.
All I gotta say is I told everybody in my group chat, the Player Haters Ball, that we're gonna come out and win. I told my cousin that lives in Milan, and that's a loser Milan fan, that we were gonna win 3-2, and he was talking shit, saying no, it's gonna be 4-2 Milan. I was like, yeah, all right. Now look at him, dubs only. Milan can suck a big fat. Y'all ever play Call of Duty? It's a pretty good game.
Oh, bro.
I love it. Look,
Tell us a
2-0
bit of...
down, 2-0 down, boys. 2-0 down. Half time. I know, Anthony, you had kicked the bucket in. You already put in the group chat, fuck this. I don't need to see this bullshit. I was in my mind, this time last year, definitely. 2-0 down, fuck this. But in Conte, we've trusted. And Christian, you told me earlier, you had the same idea. You go into the sheds. That man, he's not a loser, right? Conte. What do you think, Christian? Was it Conte who turned that game around?
Look, I guarantee you, this is what the locker rooms were like. Milan was like, "Oh shit, we're in this. Like we have a decent chance." They weren't expecting to be in this game. Let's be serious. The quality is all on our side when we're looking at both teams on paper. You know what I mean? Conte probably went in there and was like, do you guys not realize the position we're in? Juve dropped points. This is our chance to show everybody that we're serious about Scudetto. If we lose this game, I'll finally shut the hell up and stop saying that we're going to win Scudetto. That's how I was feeling. Because it was every time Juve drops points, we don't gain. You know what I mean? We were lucky the last 3 weeks, they've dropped a total of what? They've only gained 1 point out of 9.
That's shocking.
1 point out of 9. We gained 4 points on them.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, at the end of the day, the pressure was on Inter. Juve dropped points. Lazio had scraped through a 1-0 win against Parma. Right? Inter leading into the game, weekend were second, 3 points behind Juve. Going into the game, we were third, still 3 points behind Juve. And then you've got a 2-0, you're 2-0 down, right? You're missing, Lukaku's missing his partner in crime, Martinez. And you've got Candreva and Vecino just all over the place. Brozovic all over the place. Barella was, Anthony, I'm sorry. He was terrible that first half. And then you just come out of that. You come out of those sheds. You got Kandreva put it in a great cross for a Brozovic volley. You got Vecino getting his goal in the derby. It wouldn't be a derby without a Vecino goal or incredible
Hey, Bruno.
cross.
Bruno, talking about that goal, that flawless timing by Alexis Sanchez. Oh, my God.
Yes, he's got that fire. He reminds me of Barcelona Sanchez.
Bro, yes. That man turned up like I did not see that fire in him in so long since he was at Barcelona.
It looked like he's been an Interista his whole life. The passion he was showing on that field. When Conte took him off for Eriksen, he was pissed. He was like, "Are you serious?"
I don't understand why he took him off. He was on fire.
Look, he was on fire, but you know what? As I've said all season, in Conte you trust, and Eriksen would have been spectacular if that free kick went in, right?
Bro.
But he's finding
that
his
was
feet.
fire.
But back to Alexis, it feels like he looks like an Interista in that jersey. He's got that same passion he had when Chile won the Copa America.
Bro,
right?
He was fighting for every single ball. His work rate was amazing. I was surprised at how good he was fighting for every ball. Like, yo, even at one point, Milan were bouncing the ball around three of them, and Alexis went to every single player pressing him.
Yeah, and he was. And you know what? The one thing I thought at halftime was we did not take our chances, right? We missed a couple of very good chances. And I go, this team is going to make the chances in the second. And that pass from Sanchez to Vecino. In my eyes, if that was Martinez, he would have shot. Because that's what Martinez does. And you know what? When it comes off, it's fantastic. But when he misses, 80% of the time, he looks like a dickhead. Right?
Yep.
Especially when you've got an open player there. And Sanchez has that footballing IQ, which has gotten him there. Now, the substitute to take him off, is that because he wants him fit for the Copa? Is that because he needs to have backup because Martinez is back, but, you know, Lukaku's played almost every minute of every game, right? Is that because we want him to have that fighting spirit? Because you got Christian Eriksen, who was sitting on the bench. Who did Milan have on the bench to come on? Who did Milan have on the bench? We had Sensi. We had Eriksen. Who did they have? No one.
Dude, that free kick.
That free kick, holy shit.
My God. I watched it at least 15 times. Like, bruh.
Wow.
He had Donnarumma beat. He had it pictured.
Donnarumma beat. If it was an inch lower, it would have hit the post and went in. It was pinpoint, almost perfect. Now, I don't know if you listened to the podcast a couple of weeks ago while we were talking transfers. It was myself and Alessandro brought up, we need a free kick specialist. And what we saw today, holy shit. Like, I had to go change my...
It was ridiculous.
Honestly,
though,
bullshit.
I would have swapped Eriksen for Vecino. Yeah, I mean, I give credit when it's due. Yeah, Vecino stepped up second half, but I still probably would have swapped Eriksen for him because Alexis was just killing it.
Look, I have a feeling that, yeah.
Did Eriksen come in at 3-2 or did he come in at 2-2?
2-2.
Oh, well, in that case, yeah, I would have brought out Vecino. I was going to say, if you brought him in at 3-2, then Alexis...
I thought he brought on Eriksen to substitute with Alexis because Vecino, although he didn't have a great first half, we know what Vecino was capable of. We knew Kandreva was coming off for Moses, right? But we know what Vecino was capable at times. But when the game is you need to hold the ball, Inter have two of the best midfielders in the league when it comes to holding the ball in Borja Valero and Vecino.
Yeah.
Attacking wise, they're shit. But if we've got that lead, you want Borja Valero and Vecino because you know what? They're not the Sensi, they're not the Eriksen. They know how to hold the ball. They're not going for anything special. And I have a feeling Conte knew that Milan were on the back foot. We're going to get that third goal. When we do, We can't become complacent. We need him on that pitch. I'm not criticizing it because it pulled off. But it'd be a different story if we're having this podcast, it stayed 2-2, and he took Alexis off.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Overall, you look at Ashley Young. What was he looked out-muscled. He looked out-muscled, but it's his first bad game in an Inter jersey. Victor Moses, he came on and was spectacular.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't even say that Ashley Young was bad, dude. Honestly, he was pretty good.
Yeah, he was all right.
In comparison to what we've been used to.
Yeah. First half, everybody was trash first half. Not a single player was good in the first half. Second half, Ashley Young settled down. He buckled in. And think about it, dude. It could have been Baragi. If Baragi was in there, we probably would have been down 4-0.
Don't even get me started on what happened if he was there. Bro, you know what I noticed today, boys? Something very good. Even though these players might not be players that we want for us starting, they're players that really know what it means to wear the Inter jersey. I'm talking about players like Vecino, like D'Ambrosio, like Candreva, like Ranocchia. You have these players on your bench. There's a very big element of trust in them. Yeah, their physical capabilities are a little bit limited, but would you both agree that we've got players who've proven to us that they actually know what occasions mean? Vecino's grabbed two deadbeat goals in the last 3 games. He provided the assist for Icardi in the one before that. We all know how good D'Ambrosio is at the big games and respecting our jersey. He really is an Inter fan at heart. Candreva, he loves playing for Conte. He loves playing for us. He knows how to do what he's told. We've got players that can be relied on, Rivas, bro, even if it's not just the starting 11.
Listen, let me tell you something. This is how I knew we were going to win. And this is how I knew we were going to get 2 goals in the first 15 minutes. Right before this kickoff of the second half, you looked in the tunnel, ESPN had it. You saw D'Ambrosio going off on all the players, telling them they had to get it. He was digging into them, and he was telling them what they had to do.
I didn't see this. I need to see this. Make sure you link it to me afterwards, man. Go on.
Bro, he was laying it down. He was telling them, and he was giving them advice and telling them what movements they had to do. And he was just laying into them like, yo, come on, dog. You got to fight. Like, if you look at it, my boy Nick was saying, oh, nah. He's like, it's done. They got their heads down. I was like, nah, look at D'Ambrosio, dog. He's laying it into them like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And as soon as he's done, they all go out on the pitch, and all of a sudden the intensity kicked up to 100. And it wasn't just him. It was him, it was Ranocchia and Handanovic in that. They were in that tunnel talking to the players. While everybody else was going to the bench, they stayed in there and they were talking to the players, bro. That tells you the type of players we have and the type of players we know that respect the colors and the badge. It's not about the name on the back or the sponsor across the chest. It's about that badge.
100. Well said. Well said, bro. Bruno, what do you reckon, bro?
Who captained us this morning?
It was Brozovic. Now, I'm 90% sure, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the clubs in Serie A, they usually go with this thing that the person who has the most caps for the club is the automatic armband wearer for that game.
Nah.
It's not?
Nah, because Skriniar was captain for when Honda wasn't there last one.
Yeah, but Brozovic was also not playing.
If you look back to the first season when Miranda was with us, Miranda actually took the armband a couple times, and he didn't have the most caps.
Nah, I just have a feeling it was. Also, you got to think, Brozovic has been the heart and soul of this club. He's played. I think he got suspended intentionally. He needed a break, right?
Yeah.
But you got to think he's been criticised to the T about his performances week in and week out. Conte's turned around and said, "Here's the captaincy. Prove to everyone you should be wearing it. But not just that. Thank you for everything you've done." Now, I'm sorry. I watched the World Cup 2 years ago. I saw Brozovic on that.
He was the engine.
Fucking animal.
He was the engine. It wasn't Rakitic. I've been saying that for years.
It wasn't Rakitic. It wasn't Perisic. It wasn't Modric. It was Brozovic. Right? I'm getting a bit tongue twisted here, but it was Brozovic. Now, when Skriniar had that captain's armband on his arm, He did not act like a captain.
Nope.
He's a wall, but he didn't know how to talk. Right now, don't forgive me if I'm wrong here, but when Icardi wore that band, he wore it and he told the players what he wanted, when he wanted it, where he wanted it.
Yeah.
One of very traits that's good about him. He could, yeah.
Has that voice. He tells them if he's not fucking happy. If the player, I've seen games where the Fry has headed the ball out for a corner, he's lost it at him. He's like, listen, use your fucking ears. Talk. Told you I've got the ball. He's a captain. Brozovic is captain. Right?
Well, as long as you're right, and as long as this doesn't mean that Skriniar is tied into some sort of rumor where he's departing the club soon.
Fucking bullshit.
Listen. I was telling my boys, I was like, you know why Brozovic probably, in my opinion, why I see Brozovic as a captain and why he got so much respect from the locker room. And I know people are going to hate me for bringing this up, but remember last year during the whole Icardi fiasco in the locker room during Parma, he was the one that put Icardi in his place in front of everybody, talking about, I saw you at that hotel in Bologna talking to fucking the asshole, what's his name, Prati from fucking... from Juve.
Yeah, we know this.
He was the one that blew his spot in front of the whole locker room when he was like, look, I know you want to get the fuck out of here and all that, excuse my language, but at least play for us. You know what I mean? Give us a chance. Don't be missing open goals. Because you remember that game, Icardi had a lot of chances that you were just like, how are you missing that?
It was disgusting.
Stupid.
But I'm telling you, him doing that gave him a lot of street cred in my book in the locker room.
100%.
And with management.
The experience of a World Cup final, you can't go past it. But that overall performance today, it just sends shockwaves to everyone. Now, my cousin, he is a Lazio fanatic. He's got them tattooed all over his body. Lazio this, Lazio that, Lazio this. He said to me at 2-0, if Inter come back and win this game, Lazio is going to have their first home defeat against Inter because the momentum they're going to get from this win. And I'm not gonna deny it. I said, fuck off. We're coming away with 1 point here if we keep going. Mind you, after the halftime whistle blows and you see 1 goal, 2 goals. I rang Anthony when Brozovic scored that first goal. And before I could hang up the phone, I go, why are they still celebrating? We're down 2-1. I looked at the score, it's 2-2. At that point there, you realise, Milan, who the fuck's Milan? 1. 2, Conte is a magician. I'm sorry. I even saw, I know, Anthony, you wouldn't have seen it, but Christian, did you see Mancini there?
Yeah. Mancini,
he was
dude.
there clapping and cheering.
Dude.
For a team he used to manage.
You can see
Roberto Mancini was there at the derby clapping us today. Are you serious?
Yes.
Him, Ketabalde.
Shut it up.
Ketabalde
as well.
Yeah.
We're getting hella love, bro. We're getting love, bro. Have you ever seen the city painted so one-sided? Honestly.
Well, you gotta remember, we won the last 6.
I think it's 5. I don't think it's 6.
5 out the last 6. We drew 1. You're right.
Yeah. True.
Now you got to think, right? Milan have got Juventus on Friday Sydney time, in the Coppa, right? And they played. Look, I'm not going to criticize them. I'll give them praise where praise is deserved. They played their heart out in the first half, right? It was an almost perfect first half from them. But the issue was, and the cost was, for them to play so perfect meant that they could not have a good second half.
Well, you know what also screwed them? What also screwed them was they had all the momentum and then halftime came.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It killed it because they go into the locker room 2-0, but second half started now, like I said, Conte dug into them. I would pay to want to know what was said in that locker room.
Like, that's exactly what Bruno said after the game.
I don't doubt it, but look, boys, we've had some derby wins in the past, and some of them not as good as this. But what makes me happy about this one was we've seen it earlier this season against Parma when Inter had the chance to go first, against Fiorentina where Inter had the chance to stay on top at halftime through the season. Inter have struggled when the pressure's gotten to them, and Conte has been very upfront about that. We were up 2-0 against fucking Dortmund in the Champions League, and we lost it. So the team knows what it's like to go from that. And you look at the momentum Lazio got when they were down 3-0 against Atalanta in Bergamo and came back to draw the match 3-3. Now,
crazy, bro.
They've gotten that momentum. Now, since that, they won 12 straight games or 11 straight games, and they haven't lost one since, right? Now, you look at Inter, what makes this much more better is the team. I have not seen Inter act as much as a team. They're not acting even like a team. They're a fucking family.
Yeah.
They score. They hug each other. Marottas, they're applauding. They run to Conte. They're a family. You watch Lukaku's Instagram. Candreva's in his undies celebrating, but that's Candreva as normal. But still, they're a family.
Dude,
you titles.
I told my boy this. I was talking to my boy Liam. We text almost every time we're talking about footy and we're watching the games. We're always texting. And I told him this last week. I was like, yo, we're going to look at the end of the season, and this Udinese game was a turning point. This was a game where we surged for the title, because what's going to happen is we're down 2-0 against Milan, and we surged, and we straight pushed forward, bro. Like, we went right at the jugular of Milan. We took it 4-2, and now we're just going to keep climbing. I'm telling you now, we're probably going to beat Lazio. We're going to beat Juve and Torino, and that's when the title race is really going to turn up. Because I think Juve right now is vulnerable. They're very, very vulnerable, and I think they're going to start dropping points. And remember, I told you this at the beginning of the season, Anthony, said it's going to start out hot, but once we start getting towards the middle of the season, you're going to see them start dropping points, especially when it comes around Champions League time. Look, Juve is like Barcelona right now, where they're overly dependent on Ronaldo pulling something special to win a game. They're way overly dependent on that because they look like shit. Like, bro, they look bad.
Always. They look terrible.
They look
but
horrible.
Then again,
Hellas
this is the same Verona team
took it to them.
Took the game to Lazio as well. Right?
They're a good
midweek.
They're in sixth place.
But you know what? That's what is much worse for Juventus. Hellas Verona, a team which has no depth at all. They've got their starting 11 and then some kids to chuck on. Played a midweek game against Lazio.
And then Juve couldn't beat them.
Not against Chievo, not against freaking Lecce or Bologna. Against third place Lazio.
Yeah.
And took them to the wire and came out with a 1-1 draw. Right?
0-0.
Go 0-0. Sorry. Yeah. To then go 3 days later against Juventus.
Yeah, they're a good team, bro. They know how to fight. They know how to dig deep, and like they'll be pushing for a European spot, probably ahead of Milan. But what do you do? Ibrahimovic. What do you have to say about that, Christian Rivas?
Look, we knew Ibra was just gonna play poacher. Like, he's not young anymore. He's not gonna run up and down the field. He's just gonna try and find himself some space, poacher goal. You know, like it's funny because he was running his mouth. You knew he was running his mouth. He was thinking 2-0 games in the bag, it's over. Now, you seen him look so sad at the end of the game that you wanted to laugh. You just wanted to laugh at them and be like, yeah, that Lions, right? Yeah, they run in packs.
Yeah.
It's like you're running with a bunch of little cats and you're just a cub now, dude. Like,
You know what? It's like the year 7 guys playing football and having a year 10 student jump in the team and destroy it. Of course, it's going to happen. When you're playing with a bunch of kids, they're going to always pass the ball to you. That's how it works. But Milan are relying, thinking he's their saving grace. Now, Christian, I'm going to let you into a little conversation I had with Anthony Sunday morning, right? Following, which would have been Saturday, your time there. Following the Juventus loss, the Roma loss. I said, if Inter win this game, we go equal first with Juventus, and we are now 15 points clear, 5 wins clear of 5th spot, right? When Conte's goal for this season was to achieve Champions League, right? We're 15 points clear of even getting anywhere near knocked out with 15 games remaining. I did not predict Inter to be in this position, but at the same time, do you think the foot's going to come off the pedal? Because that's what I'm worried about.
I don't think so. Honestly, there's 45 points up for grab. I'm going to say that we're going to grab 38.
He loves to get logistical like this, bro. He's very good at it. Listen to the man, Bruno.
You know what? But that's what I like to hear. I like to hear someone who knows their shit.
We're going to get 38 points from the remaining 45. And I think those 38 points are going to be enough to win Scudetto. I think we win it 3 weeks to go.
Oh, that's enough time to get an emergency tie, Bruno.
Oh, Jesus. Look. Let me just go change my pants again. Because look, you're doing stuff to me, Christian.
I've been saying it since the beginning of the season. Conte is going to bring the Scudetto back to Inter. Sarri, if you look at how Juve is playing, Juve is still yet to play Sarri ball. They're not built for Sarri ball. It is what it is. They're not built for his style of play. You know?
Ronaldo's there.
And Ronaldo's there. And the thing is,
you take Ronaldo out of the equation, and Juventus are going to play a different game altogether.
But even then, that Juventus isn't built for that. You're really going to have to sit there and really take that team apart and rebuild them. Because Pjanic, everybody gives Pjanic all the credit in the world. Pjanic is not that nice to me. Pjanic does not give that final ball in the third. He's not that nice. I would take Brozovic over Pjanic any day. We had this discussion already, Anthony. We had this discussion where I said Pjanic is not nice. He's not.
He's not a nice.
It's not appetizing. It's not appetizing.
Who was it on ESPN FC? I think it was Stevie Nickel. He even sat there and went on a whole rant about how everybody talks about how great Pjanic is. When you look at Pjanic, how is he great? He doesn't give you that ball in the final third. He just plays it basic, a lot of side to side, a lot of play back. He plays it very safe. He's not giving you that final third ball. I guess everybody gives him credit because he takes shots outside the box and free kicks. But when you look at it, he's not the man that's going to give that final ball to the striker. Bro, look at how Juve plays. If it's not a brilliant 60-yard run from Ronaldo, they aren't doing shit against that Verona team. They were lackluster. Dybala isn't doing nothing coming off the bench. It is just like you're looking at this Juve team and you're like, what are you doing? Like, you're not built for that type of football. And a lot of Juve fans sit there and they even say, oh, we got to fire Sarri. We got to fire Sarri. I'm like, so what do you want to do? You're going to fire a coach mid-season while you're still fighting for Scudetto, you're still fighting for Coppa Italia, and you're still fighting for Champions League, and end up just like Barcelona, where you're going to get knocked out of Coppa Italia, you're going to get knocked out of Champions League, and you're going to be not in the top, fighting for the top spot. You stick with Sarri to the end of the season, he's not going to win you Scudetto. He's probably not going to win you Coppa Italia or the Champions League either, and you're going to go trophyless. I said they were going to go trophyless. I'm sticking with it.
That's the dream, bro, to be honest. Look, where I'm standing at the moment is that the next the next 7 to 8 match days in Serie A are the crunch ones, because if you can get to that final stretch and still be within a sniff, then you've got that energy to recuperate and regroup and go for that final push. It's all about containing and getting yourself in the best possible position in that chunk period of the season, which Christian Rivas always mentions is when that February period of European football kicks off again. It's an absolute nightmare of a calendar for certain teams, especially if you're in the Europa League, which is what we're in. We've got to play a match day 32 as opposed to the Champions League that goes straight to a match day of 16. So fixture congestion, lads, is going to be very, very real. Christian, how do you think we're going to cope with it? We all know that we've got the Europa League squad has been put out. There were no surprise exclusions or anything like that. Do you think we should go for that tournament, or hey, are we just going to start playing reserve squads?
Ideally, I throw it away. Yeah. I don't care for it. Dude, right now, I'd rather get Scudetto and Coppa Italia. If we can pull a double with Conte.
We got 2 legs against a team called Ludogorets, bro. So in the first leg against them, you really can just play a reserve squad 100.
I would piss it away. Like I said, for me, I'm not worried about that. I want that Scudetto. We need to end the Juve dominance in Serie A. It needs to end.
Yeah, it has to.
And I can say it's getting a double this year. A double. Now, Scudetto, Europa, Scudetto, Coppa, Scudetto, whatever. There's going to be a double.
Oh, man. You're too optimistic now, bro.
Listen. But you're the glass half empty guy at halftime said, "Nah, fuck this, I'm going to work."
100%. I did. 100%. But it's still got to think at the end of the day, bro, how many years and how many decisions has it been that have gone Juve's way? Like, we get it. Bonucci handballed it this weekend and a referee called it, bro. Someone called God, Virgin Mary, everybody. But the cynical part of me, the Inter fan in me still says that the stars will align perfectly for them. But from a tactical...
like I said to you, Anthony...
They've got no tactical identity. Let me finish, bro. One sec. They lost a lot of their identity a couple of years ago with a couple of structural changes in the club. You let Buffon leave to PSG the same year Barzagli retires. The same year you absolutely flop the Marchisio retirement and don't send him a proper farewell. Then Marotta leaves. Then Chiellini gets injured for 6 months and Bonucci goes to AC Milan and comes back. You lose a big chunk of that stable identity that you've built on for such a long time, which started with, funny that, Antonio Conte.
Oh, look, what did I say? I think if we go back a couple of podcasts, probably for the start of the year, I said to you, if Inter finish second to Juventus, we win the title. Because something's going to come out. Now, I'm not going into freaking conspiracy theories or anything. But every year we have a drink, you and I, Anthony, to celebrate another failed appeal of the 2006 Scudetto. Right? We just light the cigar, we have a nice scotch, and we just laugh. And I just think that is now starting to play on their minds again. Right? Not that they failed that appeal, but who was the dominant force in Italy before they came back into the Serie A? Right? Who had freaking De Boer as a manager and thought their best signing was Danny Osvaldo? Who had Spalletti as a manager 2 years in a row, failed to lead the Champions League group, and 2 years in a row qualified for Champions League on the last day by a fucking whisker?
I'm so glad
this season,
do that this season, bro. That's the biggest.
This season? No, go away. This season, we pulled the Lukaku deal from Juventus and got them. Then, them and their little friends turned around and said, "Oh, Lukaku's fat, blah, blah, blah. He's slow, this, that. Let his goals talk for him." Right? We're pulling points left, right, and center. We've only lost one game in the Serie A at all this season. The only other team to have a better record than Inter is Liverpool, who are 22 points ahead of their freaking closest competitors. 22. Right? And they've pulled Eriksen out of nowhere. Now everyone's saying you could have gotten him for free in 6 months. We paid $20 million for an $80 million player.
Listen. Anthony, remember I was telling you this weeks ago when we were talking about with Mario? When you have the opportunity to get a player like that, you pay for it, get it done. Don't fight all the other clubs in the summer.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly. And it's exactly what happened. And we are starting to get dividends. We are starting to cash in. And Beppe Marotta, right? Now, I'm not saying it because I'm making fun of him, but he's never got two eyes in the one place. He's watching the game. No, but I'm serious. He's watching the game, but he's also got his mind thinking of what his next move is going to be, right? And we knew about it. He signed Godin for free in a silent transfer, which got announced as soon as it happened. He's built a relationship with the inter-club president, the owner, right? That is formidable. You convinced these businessmen to invest another $50 million for what? To pay the players more, to attract better players. 10 days later, we've signed Christian Eriksen. Right. Inter's newest signing, which we won't see at the club for another couple of years, Bruno Fernandes. He's currently at our youth camp in Manchester. Right. I'll give you 3-4 years before he comes. But Marotta, right? Everyone's praising Conte, right? But the real puppeteer behind this, the real man pulling the strings, is Marotta. His last hurrah at Juventus was one of the biggest signings the Serie A, if not the biggest the Serie A has ever seen. And since then, they have struggled. They got Aaron Ramsey for free, who's also going on the market this year. Aaron fucking Ramsey.
Scrub.
Seriously?
Christian knows all about Aaron.
Oh,
Jesus,
then
scrub.
You've got Beppe Marotta, who, you know what, gets these players, but he has faith in his manager. He got Conte there. Lukaku, no worries. Here's the checkbook. We'll get him. But you know what? We'll pay for him over 3 years. Alexis Sanchez, don't know why you want him, but we'll get United to pay for 80% of his wages while we keep him. Barella, loan, all of this. Christian Eriksen, he's the puppeteer. And guess what? I said at the start of this season, we will be up there. I didn't think we would be one loss, right? But we are up there. Now, you give Beppe another transfer window, Inter will start to attract the players. Inter
that's what I was about to say.
Inter is not a destination for many players. Why? Because look at Juventus. Now you look at France. PSG has been so dominant, they're getting all the stars. Why? Because no one else in the league can compete. But who wants to go back to that league? No one wants to play for the shit teams, right? But then you've got Milan sending Suso to Valencia. Why? Because both teams aren't appealing to the players. Inter is now appealing. And with that is going to come amazingness. Right? I don't want Messi at our club. Right? There was rumors, all that bullshit. Because you know what? Messi will put an eye in team. And right now, Conte has built that team. And I'm buzzing. I have been buzzing all freaking day. And with a 3-month-old baby, I'm not meant to be buzzing all freaking day. But this win this morning was like an injection of some drug. And I just feel like we are on this win has changed the tides. It's like the handing of the baton. We are now Milan. You can talk about your 7 Champions League wins. All right. As the Italians say, studiate culo, wipe your ass with them. Because this isn't history anymore. We're in the present. What are you doing? He's fighting for a scrummy little Europa spot. What are we doing? Challenging for the Scudetto and signing world-class players, not 30-year-old has-beens.
38.
38-year-old has-beens, sorry. Right? 38-year-old has-beens who's looking to get his last little bit of money before he leaves. And everyone's talking about loyalty and all of that. I don't know. Did you see what happened to the Zlatan statue in Malmo?
Yep.
That
Not
absolutely
good.
destroyed it. Why? Because he went and bought shares in their closest competition.
He's never been a loyal person. You've just always got to admire his physical attributes and what makes him a player. But no one's ever called him loyal, bro. I mean, as soon as Juve got demoted to Serie B, he was quick to jump on our own bandwagon. Welcome aboard. Thanks for the goal, bro. Thanks for the goals, bro. Leave. Say that you want to win the Champions League elsewhere and watch us do you over in 2 legs. So all good, all good, all goody. Bro, I wanted to hear a bit from Christian before we end this podcast. A couple of things. I was speaking with Bruno earlier. Alexis, we still have an option to get this guy permanently. Now, I think Beppe can wave the wand so good and lock him down for a real good price, man. Like, I'm talking like something stupid, like 8 to 12.5 million flat fee, stupid. You want to keep him. I know you do. I want to keep him as well. What price do you reckon we could strike a deal for? Because part of me, Christian, says that Marotta's he doesn't really have a heart in these situations. He's very easy to just say no to these sort of deals and just let Sanchez walk back to Manchester.
My thing is this. I think it's going to be more of the will of the player. I think Sanchez is going to be the one that pushes Man U to lower. I think it's going to be 15 mil, to be honest. 12.5 to 15 mil, that's where we're going to find it. Probably 12.5 with 2.5 million in bonuses. I remember we were having this conversation in your group chat, and I told the one guy, I said, look, Alexis does not want to go back to Manchester United. All right? He's going to come to Inter, and he's going to lower his wages drastically to not go back because he's going to resurge his career. So the man's going to find his feet, and he's finding it now. He's starting to find his feet. He's starting to find his form. He's starting to get his air back in him. You know, he's starting to get himself right again. And he's going to pay us back just how we paid him. I don't see us I see us negotiating with Manchester, and I see Alexis saying, I'm not going back. I literally see him saying, I'm not going back to Manchester. I'm staying here. My personal opinion. And I hope he does, because seeing him today, he looked like he really, really, really fit. And I just got his jersey too. So, you know, there's that.
Nice. I was about to say, man, he looks good in our jersey. He looks happy. It looks like a team he permanently belongs to for a while. And, man, I'll be happy to have him. His quality speaks for itself. Another thing, where do you think realistically Milan can finish this season, Christian? Only because the Pioli effect is about to wear off. You know that awesome Pioli effect? It's just about to hit a hard rope, kind of like the hard rope we hit in February against Juventus, and all that form under Pioli just went downhill. I have a feeling that's about to strike at Milan. So quickly, where do you think they're going to finish?
9th. I got them finishing in 9th place.
All right, cool. Bruno, just quickly, where do you think they're going to finish?
Look, I gotta agree with Christian there, but anywhere between 12th, 9th, 12th and 6th, 12th and 7th, just because it's so compact there. One game can change everything. If Milan won this morning, they'd go from 10th to 6th.
Yeah,
it's that close. You can't really predict. But 6th is a good thing in Milan's eyes, but a crap thing because like last year, like I said, the rest of the Serie A made Inter look great last year. When Inter dropped points, so did the rest of the Serie A. Now, this year, it's the same fucking story. It's been disgusting. Now, a team that was destroyed 5-0 by Atalanta, 4-2 by Inter, they technically should not be in the top 10. But I'm saying between 12th and 7th, only because it's tight. It's very tight.
It's time for them to get Walter Mazzari, bro. I feel like that would complete the cycle.
No. Spalletti.
I don't want Spalletti together. I like Spalletti, bro. Let Spalletti chill with our colors on.
Hey, all right. Let me ask both y'all a question now. Are you believing in Scudetto?
Yes.
Anthony?
Man. I know I'm the pessimist in the bunch, but like this morning is one of those special results that makes you believe. But at the same time, see, I'd believe, Christian, if my next fixture was Spal and the fixture after that was I don't know.
Sampdoria, that I'll be at.
Exactly. Oh, you going to Sampdoria? Footage,
Yep.
4 days. Can't wait for that footage. Awesome. But like we've got, as I said, and as you said, we've got that crunch period coming up, that nice little chunk of February and March where you've got to balance the European fixtures and the tough fixtures. And we've got Lazio, we've got the Coppa Italia semi-final. So I think when you come out of that match day 27, 28 period, and you got 10 or less games in the league remaining, and you've got that energy to put in that final sprint, that's when I'll be convinced. But it's looking good, bro. But nah, I can't say fully yes yet. Sorry.
Don't forget, you already promised me. If we win Scudetto, I get a whole rant for like 10 minutes talking shit.
Whole minutes, uncensored, bro, uncensored. But like at the same time, I don't know what's going to happen with Lazio as well. They've only got Italian domestic league games to play, boys. 1 game every 7 days. Does this team look like a team that's going to drop that many points in that with those games?
No.
Yeah,
like honestly, bro, they're fit.
I do.
They look good. I hope they do, and I hope we start it.
You know why I think they do, and I know we're not supposed to really talk about it, but they don't have depth.
No.
To last to the end. And that's the thing that's going to kill them is their depth.
An uninjured Lazio, yes. But they've gone the whole first half of the season injury-free.
Yeah.
Wait until injury strikes his team down. Immobile. Yeah, Carrera got injured, but he's not one of their main players. Immobile. You lose your goals. Luis Alberto, they go from 3rd, 2nd, whatever they're going to be, to 10th.
Yep.
Right. So all of that.
He's their Brozovic.
Anyway, boys, I got to wrap it up.
Yeah, it was a real good, nice impromptu edition. So thank you very much to the boys for the chat. Christian Rivas, my man, take care.
All right.
And thank you very much, Bruno. Cheers, bro.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Give him a kiss. Just blow him a kiss there, Anthony.
Never, bro.
My man.
Just like you do to Mario, week in,
of
week
course.
out.
Mario's not here for me to do it.
My man.
I'll give you one too, Christian.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Ciao ragazzi, forza Inter worldwide.